my name is Lon Safko, co-author of the Social Media Bible, published by John Wiley & Sons, the most comprehensive book ever written on the subject of social media. And today we are here with Leah Culver, how cool, co-founder of Pownce. And we'll be speaking today about microblogging, social media, and of course, a lot about Pownce. So Leah, wow, it's really great to have you here today. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Lon.
This is cool. Let's get started. Leah, can you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself, what your background is, who you are, what you're doing?
I'm one of the co-founders of Pownce, and I'm actually a developer, a software developer. And a little bit about my background is I have a computer science degree from the University of Minnesota, and I now live in San Francisco, where I work on Pownce.
Oh, okay. That sounds pretty cool. And so that's how you got involved in Pownce, by being a programmer?
Yep. So I wrote the website.
Ah, okay. That's cool. For some of the people out there, believe it or not, some people have never heard about what Pownce actually is. Can you tell our listeners a little bit or a lot about what Pownce is and what it does?
Sure. It's a social networking website, and it's for sending messages to your friends. And when we say messages, we mean that you can also send links, files, and events. So you can send a lot of media and share things with your group of friends.
And I think that's pretty cool that it's not just about texting like some of the other social media communication websites, is that right on your website you even come out and say, yeah, we do messages, but also links, music, photographs, and you can actually send a file up to 100 megabytes?
Right. And if you have a pro account, you can send even bigger files. So you can share lots of different stuff with the people you care about.
Well, see, I think that's an exciting twist on what you're doing, because it's not just these messages that my airplane is 5 minutes late. Because so often you're at a conference or you're even having dinner with a friend and you grab your cell phone and take a photograph. It would be nice to be able to link all of that with a short little communication.
Right, and we have an iPhone app, and we're working on more mobile ways to take photos very quickly and send them out. So that's one of the things we're definitely interested in.
Yeah, can you tell me a little bit about, is it mainly PC-based? Is it both mobile and PC? How does that work?
So this part's kind of interesting. We actually have a website, which you can access from any type of computer, and we also have a mobile website. So if you're on like a BlackBerry or like a Nokia phone, you can check out our mobile site. We also have an iPhone application, which you can get from the iPhone App Store. And we also have a desktop app, which you can download, and it works on Windows, Mac, and I think it now works on Linux.
Oh, wow. All three major platforms.
So lots of different ways that you can communicate and get access to your messages and send new messages. And
so it's really going across all of the typical digital technology, laptops, PCs, iPhones, mobiles.
Yeah, we're trying.
Well, that's pretty exciting. Now, in your messages, some of the other messaging services have a 140-character limitation. Is that true for you also?
No. We do have a limit, but it's pretty high, so you can pretty much write a whole blog post and send it if you want to.
And that's another kind of a keen thought. So you can actually, does Pownce interface with other social media sites? So can I update Pownce and update other people and have, let's say, my WordPress blog site pick up on it?
So that's also one of the things we're working on, is we have an API, which is a resource for programmers, other developers, to build things on top of Pownce. Mm-hmm. So, for example, someone has written a WordPress plugin, where if you get that plugin, it'll post all of your Pownce posts to WordPress. So developers can get super creative with what they want to create for either republishing or having ways to publish back to Pownce. So it's kind of cool. There's actually a wide variety of things you can do.
Well, that is pretty cool.
People have built.
That is pretty cool, too, because WordPress is such a major force right now in the social media ecosphere, and to be able to have that plug-in so that you can read your Pownce messages and get photographs from it, I think that's really important. I think that's great. And
we're working on all sorts of other tools and working with developers on. We're happy to have it all over the web. So
that's great. And one of the things when I was reading some of your blogs, and I think your blog in particular, I was looking at some of the comments, and here's something that I don't hear a lot of, and I'm kind of happy to hear that it was on yours. What it said was the developers listen to the user's ideas. I thought that was really cool. I mean, you're out there, you're doing social media, because, I mean, your tool is a social media tool, but your two-way communication and user-generated content and wisdom in the crowds, you're actually listening to what the people want, and your developers are developing those types of tools.
Right. Well, I think it's super important. It's really important to keep. I mean, Pownce is a community site, so there is like a community, and you have your group of friends, and so it's very social. And it's important that people are able to express themselves the way that they want to. So feedback really means a lot to us, both implicit and explicit feedback. So we both look at what people are saying and then what they're actually doing on the site.
That's cool. And can you tell me a little bit about your demographic? I mean, who actually is using Pownce?
Oh my gosh, it's a huge wide range of people. I don't know that there's actually one particular type of people, but we're pretty split, men and women, some in the U.S., plenty of people abroad. So it's really a wide variety of people.
And that's one of the things, too, that in the interviews that I've done in the past is that eventually it always kind of comes out is that most of us here in the U.S. are kind of U.S.-centric. I mean, when we think of technology and we think of all of the different social media sites, we really kind of focus just on the U.S. applications. But you actually have users throughout the world?
Yes, definitely. We have a lot of users in Australia and a lot of users in France.
Really?
So it's definitely kind of fun to see those communities and interact with them. And we'll be working in the future towards making things easier for them and really encouraging more community abroad as well. So
I love the international. Do you find that people are willing to translate your website and kind of work with you to make those translations so that your tools can be used in their country?
Well, we're just starting to look at that now, and it's a long process. So it's a little bit tricky, but of course people have friends in all sorts of different countries, and the online community is very global. So we'd love to support that at Pownce. To
expand out, that's great. What do people use Pownce for? What's a typical application, or what's some of the stranger applications that you've seen for Pownce?
Well, usually people will either send messages or links or a lot of photos. YouTube videos. So if you find so potential use cases, you find a funny kitten video on YouTube, and you want a way to share that with your friends. The typical way most people have done that is by email or by IM, and email can feel a little bit heavy and boring, and IM is kind of real time, like the other person has to actually be there for it to work. Mm-hmm. So the nice thing about Pownce is you can just post it on Pownce, it'll get sent out to your group of friends, and they can go back and leave comments on it. So it's pretty cool. And some of the weirder use cases, we've had everything from marriage proposals to people posting about a project for making bacon. So
really?
keeping people updated on the status of a bacon making project. So it's a pretty wide range.
That is really a wide range. I mean, that's kind of cool to think about, that someone actually started their lives together by text messaging using your service. That's kind of cool.
They actually sent a photo of a ring, but the actual post was in French.
Oh.
It was one of our part of our French community, and I didn't actually get the message, but one of my friends did, and they forwarded it to me and said, I can't read, I don't understand French, but I think I get the meaning of it.
No Pownce.
It was very cute. So
that's pretty slick. Is there any statistics that you can kind of share with us, users, or anything that you?
I don't normally talk about statistics, but it's a pretty active community, so.
That's okay. I understand. That's quite okay. There's competition out there. The one other thing that we did kind of talk about with one of your people a couple of months ago is that you were just beginning to implement kind of a business strategy for covering the overhead. And is the strategy that you're using, is it the typical freemium where you get a minimum amount of service and you get that totally for free, and then there's incremental charges? Or what's the business model right now? Because we want you guys to stick around. We want you to make money.
Right. I love the word freemium. I think it's hilarious. But we do have paid accounts, so you can upgrade your account, and with the upgrade you get to design a custom theme. You get to see no ads on the entire site, and you get to upload larger files. And you get a little badge next to your photo. So It's only $20 a year, so we have quite a number of users have paid accounts, and we're experimenting with different types of advertising on the site as well. So.
Okay, well, I mean, who can't afford $20 a year? I mean, geez, that's what, 4 or 5 Starbucks.
Well, the regular accounts, like not paid accounts, pretty much you have the full functionality of the site, but the paid account just adds like a little bit extra for people that use Pownce a lot. So.
Yeah, and I think that's a great business model, because if you just want to get in there and try it out, because for the book, I've probably identified over 150, close to 200 different social media websites. And when I make the presentations around the country and I explain all these different websites, people get overwhelmed. And my advice is always, don't get overwhelmed. Pick one in each of the categories and try them out. And I would imagine that when people use Pownce and they can set up a free account and then they see how valuable it is, that going to that next logical, inexpensive step is probably a fairly easy transition.
And I agree with, there are a large number of these social media sites, and I think it just is up to the person and what they like to do. So trying them out really is the right idea. Try them out, see what the community is like, see what the features are like, and then usually you'll find a couple that stick. So.
Yeah. And that's nice that you give us that opportunity to do that. And it's, as you mentioned earlier, it's fully functional, so there's really no practical limitations even on the free account. But if you really want to be a power user, I mean, $20 a year is quite doable. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and I'd encourage anyone out there to check it out and try it out, add a couple people as friends, and see how it goes. Cool.
Can you think of any applications where a business might want to use Pownce or has used Pownce?
Sure. There's been a couple small web firms that use it internally to send files back and forth. So, someone's working on a Illustrator document or something, they can send it over to someone else to go check it out. That's pretty popular use for smaller businesses, and I'm sure that there can be applications in the future for businesses using it for either internal communication or to communicate with customers. We're seeing a little bit of that on the site right now. So on the main site, having people, corporations be communicating with people by Pownce, which is pretty cool. So.
Yeah, I think that's really neat. That's a great application. I didn't even think of that. That if you're working with a design team, whether it's an engineering design team, a web programming design team, or even marketing communications, someplace where you have to send a file or even a PDF or a Word document, you can just quickly attach it and just send it off, and it's all kind of encapsulated. Can you set up groups?
So we have sets where you can, it's sort of like an email list where you can choose a group of people to send something to, but it's a little more, it's not the same as groups where people can opt in. It's more like you create the list and you can send it out to them. We're thinking about doing groups in the future, but it's just been, it's been put on hold a little bit right now. So.
Okay. Well, no, I mean, that's pretty cool, too. And actually, when I used the term group, I was thinking of email groups where you have to send one file to a group of people.
Yeah, we definitely do that. And we do that internally at Pownce. So I have my group of people that work at Pownce, and I'll send out something to them that's specifically work-related, and so it's nice. And we also show who's received each message, so you can see on the side when you go to the main page for the message, you can see who else has received it. So you know exactly who's getting it and who's seeing it and who's seeing your replies to that, which is really nice.
That's really cool, too, because on email, sometimes it's difficult or even impossible with some email programs to set it up where you can actually set up what's called a receipt so that you're guaranteed that person actually got that.
Yeah.
That's really good to have. I like that idea. If someone wanted to kind of get started using Pownce, is it a difficult process? What do they do?
It's actually pretty simple. You can go to pownce.com and you just enter in some basic info about yourself, and then you can go through a step where you can add a bunch of friends. So you can import your friends from other social networks. So say if you use Facebook, you can go through a little step that finds out which of your friends on Facebook is already using Pownce, and you can use them as friends. So you can kind of start off with a couple friends, and then you can also invite people. So you can send messages out to your other friends and say, hey, try this out. And then once you have a couple people, you'll start getting messages. You can start sending messages right away. So it's pretty simple to get started.
Okay, so you basically just go in and kind of set up a profile like you do on other social media websites, and then you click OK and you're doing it. That is
You can send
pretty cool.
messages right as soon as you get started. So.
I like that. And also, I had a chance to interview Google OpenID. And are you guys participating in the OpenID?
It's definitely something we're interested in, but right now it's just hasn't been. We haven't gotten around to it quite yet.
Sure.
But we are interested in supporting these web security and web standards and making it easier for people to start using different websites. So. That's
also cool. Now, on the web page, can you put any photographs or information on your web page at Pownce? Can you?
Yeah. So when you create your profile, you can have like your own profile image, like your avatar, your little icon with your photo, and you can put in a little bit of info about yourself, and then as soon as you start sending messages, if you send them publicly, they'll be available on your page, so pownce.com/your username, and anybody can go see that public page, and anything that you've sent publicly will be viewable there. So if you want to post photos, if you want to post videos, anybody can go and see those if they're public.
Oh, okay, so you have kind of like a blog roll or a message roll of photographs so people can look at chronologically how you're communicating?
Yep, it's a little bit like a blog and a little bit like email. So it's kind of a weird mix of the two, right? So you do have kind of a public place where you can just kind of display things, but you also have a method for sending those same things to other people. So.
Wow, okay, that's pretty cool. Now, what else do you have? What's going on at Pownce? I mean, what's your plans for the rest of this year, 2009? Is there some features, options, anything that you can tell our listeners to kind of get them excited about some of the things you're planning?
Sure. We're actually working on a redesign right now of the website to make things a little bit simpler. You can see more messages per page, and there's also a couple new features that I can't talk about, but they're really cool. It's to encourage more conversation and more sharing on the site. So.
Okay, so we need to keep checking back to find out what those really cool secret things are.
Yeah, definitely. They're coming pretty soon. We're also working on a new version of our iPhone application that allows you to update your location. So you can tell people where you're at.
Oh, really?
Yep. So you can currently do it on the website, and it's kind of a more hidden feature, but we're trying to really bring that out with our iPhone application because it's something where you are mobile and you are going around different places. So.
Ah, okay. So are you taking advantage of the GPS function in iPhone?
Yep.
See, now that's really cool because you're walking down the street and it's a Friday night or Saturday night, and wouldn't it be cool to just pull out your iPhone and be able to send a message to your homies to find out who's close by, and then everybody kind of get together? Is that kind of the intent?
Yep. Even better than that, you can take a photo at a place that you're at, and you can send it, and it'll say where the photo was taken.
Ooh, really?
Very cool. Yeah.
I'm
very excited. I'm very excited for that photo. So.
And that's going to be coming down the road here real soon, huh?
Pretty soon, next couple months. So.
Okay, and do you update us on all of your new ideas? As a member, do you send out updates? How do we find out about them?
So you can add me as a friend on Pownce, and I do mention pretty much everything that comes out, or you can follow our blog.
Oh, okay.
Those are both the best ways. Probably just following my messages. The best way to find out what's going on.
Well, can you give us an address where your blog is?
Sure. So my Pownce account is pownce.com/Leah Culver, all one word. And the Pownce blog is blog.pownce.com.
Okay. That's pretty cool. So is there anything else that you'd like to say about Pownce and why it's as terrific as it is?
Oh, I hope your listeners sign up, try it out, send some photos, send some videos, and start sharing with their friends.
That's great. I'm sure they will. Pownce is really, really a cool application. Okay, then.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks. I'd really like to thank Leah Culver, the co-founder of Pownce, for being with us here today and talking about social media and Pownce and some of the cool things that are happening at Pownce. So, Leah, truly, thank you so much.
Thank you, Lon.
Cool. This has been Lon Safko, the co-author of the Social Media Bible. Be sure to check out our other valuable social media tactics, tools, and strategies that can be found in the Social Media Bible book and its companion website, www.thesocialmediabible.com. And for more information about me, Lon Safko, by all means, please go over to my website at www.lonsafko.com. And again, Leah, thank you so much for being with us here and sharing that information. Thank you.
Thank you, too.